Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sahil Agrawal. I am a final year undergraduate at IIT Gandhinagar. I am also going to join D.E.Shaw in a few months as a software developer. In this video, we will talk about my resume that got me into D.E.Shaw. It was the first company which came to our campus. I applied, got my resume got shortlisted, and then I was able to clear the coding rounds and the interviews. And then finally, I got an internship offer from them and followed by a PPO. Let me tell you a fact. HR looks to your resume only for 7 seconds. Yes, you heard it right. In those 7 seconds, he or she decides whether to shortlist your resume or not. If your resume is not good, it will not be shortlisted. So yes, resume making is the first step which needs to be done very carefully, with full dedication and with full mind. You should prepare your resume very well. It is a very important first step which you want to take right, because you want to end up getting a good software placement or an internship. I know I was quite worried about my resume at the time of applying. I had sent my resume to many of my seniors for review. They gracefully suggested me a lot of things, lot of changes that made my resume a lot better. I learned a lot through that process. I learned what things we should add in our resume, what things we should avoid in our resume. But at that moment of time, I was quite worried on even if I will be able to fill my resume up to 1 page, because at that moment I did not had much to write in my resume, but somehow I managed it. I will show you my full resume which I applied to D.E.Shaw, so you guys can go through that, and if you like some element of my resume, obviously you are free to use that. While going through the resume, I will also share some tips which I followed at the time of making my resume. These are some basic tips which many people ignore at the time of resume making, but these tips will add a lot of value to your resume if followed. So let's see how my resume looked like 2 years back. Yes, here's my resume. The main highlight of this resume is that the template which is used in this resume is quite simple, quite basic, and quite professional. If you see, the font which is used is simple black, and the headings which I have given to projects or achievements or to the technical skills, it is simple bold black with a dark background. So the first point which you should keep in mind is that your resume template should be very simple, very basic, and very professional. Please don't add multiple colors like red, orange, yellow, green. Don't try to do that. Please don't add multiple designs like you're adding leaves or you're adding some weird designs. Don't do that, because you are applying for a tech job, right? They don't want to see your design capability. You're not applying for a fancy design competition. Please don't try to beautify your resume. If you're applying for a tech job, they expect professionalism. Okay, so this is my template. I have shared the template in the description. If you like this template, you can use that. It is IIT Gandhinagar's resume template. I don't know if it is allowed to share or not, but I think this is a very basic template which IIT Gandhinagar does not have any copyright on, so you guys can use it. My resume is of 1 page. It is highly recommended that your resume should not exceed 1 page, because if you're going for 2 pages or 3 pages, no one will read that. No one has time to read your long resumes in this busy world. Many of you guys, if you don't know, I have come up with my own OOPS course in C++. OOPS is a very important course, AC subject, when we talk about interview rounds and also coding rounds. In many of the coding rounds, it is OOPS concepts are asked in the form of MCQs, and in interviews, obviously, in every interview, OOPS concepts like inheritance, polymorphism are asked. So if you want to learn OOPS in C++, you can enroll in my course. The link is in the description, and you can avail 30% off. Already 23 students have enrolled in the course and are watching lectures. If you want to be a part of my community, you can enroll in that course. If you see the top part of my resume, I have my name. Then I have written junior undergraduate because I was in my second year. If you are in your third year or fourth year, you can write third year undergraduate or final year undergraduate. Then I've written my discipline, which was computer science and engineering, and then my college name, IIT Gandhinagar. On the right hand side, if you see, I have provided my email ID and phone number. These details are very important, because if the HR wants to contact you, how will they do that? They need your email ID and your phone number, right? So these details should be given in the resume. And then when you come down, you can see a profile section which has my GitHub link and a LinkedIn profile link. Again, this if you put your GitHub links and LinkedIn links, this makes your resume more professional. This says to the HR that okay, this guy has provided their GitHub link and the LinkedIn profile link. Let's see what kind of projects he has done, what kind of profile he has built on LinkedIn. So the HR, if they want, they can just go through your GitHub profile link and they will see all the projects which you have done. They can also go through your LinkedIn profile and they will get a sense of what kind of things you are doing in your college. So a working GitHub link and a working LinkedIn profile link always helps. Then we move down to the academic details. So in my academic details, I have mentioned my percentage in 10th standard, I've mentioned my percentage in 12th standard, and I've also mentioned my CGPA, right? So my CGPA was 9.15. I've also made a video on how I managed to score a 9+ CGPA alongside preparing DSA and competitive program. You can watch it. Moving on, I have a projects section in my resume. So if you have done any internships before applying, then you can add internships, and the internships section should come before the project section. When I was applying for D.E.Shaw, I did not had any internships, so that is why I skipped that section and I jumped onto the projects section. So if you see, I added 3 projects in my resume. The first 2 are the course projects which I did in my college, and the third one is a website which I made in my first year using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Okay, so I've explained every project in 3-4 bullet points. If you carefully see, every bullet point is limited to one single line. This is very important. Please don't explain your projects in paragraphs. No one has time to read your long paragraphs. Only write single sentences. This gives a very professional impression to the interviewer or to the HR, because if someone sees your resume and sees paragraphs, there is a subconscious psychology behind that they will not read it. But if you have points, there is a subconscious psychology that says that okay, this is one point, let me read it. Oh, this is second point, let me read it. But if you're writing long paragraphs, no one wants to read that. Many of the students nowadays are making projects in the field of data science and web development. These are the fields which have a high demand nowadays. With the advent of ChatGPT and all the AI stuff, most of the people want to deep dive into the world of data and want to learn data science. And on the other hand, web development is the most basic software development, because any company beginning from a small startup to a multinational company wants to have their own website, and for that, web development is the most basic skill which everyone needs to learn. Many of the students I have known in many of the colleges start the development journey with web development. The boot camps of odinschool will help you with this with 360-degree placement assistance. odinschool is an online upskilling platform that helps students and professionals launch and grow their careers by getting trained from top industry educators. They have more than 500 hiring partners, which provides you with 360-degree placement assistance. You can check their placement success stories on their website. There was a lady named Priscilla who attended their odinschool boot camps and got a salary hike of more than 300%. That itself tells a lot about the odinschool boot camps and their placement strategies. They provide you with communication and aptitude training through live weekend classes and recorded lectures. They provide you with resume building sessions with unlimited job opportunities. odinschool also negotiates on the behalf of the students for salary packages. Once you apply for any of their courses, you also are eligible for scholarships, and EMI options are also available for payment. Whether you are a student or a working professional and want to get jobs in these domains like data science and web development, odinschool's bootcamp are the best. If you want to check out, the link is in the description. You can check it out. So now let's move on to the resume. And one more thing which you would be seeing in my resume, that I've added GitHub links or project demo links or website links in my projects. So this again is very important. This gives a very good impression to the HR or to the recruiter, because if you are, let's say if you're making a website and you explain in your projects section that you have used React.js or Node.js, Express.js and MERN-stack and those things, but one guy on the other hand has added a website link, which one is better? Tell me. The guy who has added the link is better, right? Because the HR or the recruiter can just click on that link and see the actual website which you have made, or can see the actual application which you have made. So if you are making a project, please try to add GitHub links or website links or app links or any link, working link, which you think that this will showcase my project. On the right hand side, you can see the project's timeline. Okay, so that should also be proper. I added my projects according to the timeline, according to the time when I made them. But if you think that your first year project is better than your second year or third year projects, then you can add your first year project at the top position. Okay, so the project which you are adding at the top position should be the best one, followed by the second best, followed by the third best, and so on. Okay, and please make sure to not fake anything in your project section. Many people write anything which they don't know. So if the recruiter, if the interviewer asks you question based on your projects, and if you're not knowing the answer to that question, it really gives a bad impression. That says a lot about you. That says that you have faked, you have not done this project on your own. So please write those things which you know, and even if you're faking, please learn those things, or like before the interview. Okay, don't fake in a resume. Then comes the section of position of responsibility, which I think many first year and second year students are obsessed with. Don't worry if you don't have any PORs. I had one, so I added it. If you don't have, you can skip this section. Literally, the recruiter doesn't give a to your PORs, because they don't care whether you were the secretary of your dance club at your college or whether you are a good singer. They don't care. What really matters is your projects, is your technical skills, is your achievements in the tech domain when you're applying for a technical job. PORs really don't matter, but if you want to showcase your communication skills through PORs, you can do so by adding maximum of 2 PORs, and in short you can explain what you did being at that position. Then comes a very important section, achievements. Yes, it is good to have achievements in tech domain. If you have good code forces ratings, you can add that. If you have good lead code ratings, you can add that. Or if you have gotten good ranks in some competitive programming contests, you can add that. Okay, so any achievement related to coding, related to tech, related to academia, you can add those in this section. Please try to avoid adding achievements related to your clubs or your sports, because the recruiter doesn't care if you were a gold medalist in swimming in your college, because that doesn't really matter, right? I know you would be proud of your achievement, but that doesn't hold any kind of importance here at this place. The next section again is very important, which is about technical skills. So you can add any technical skill which you know. You can add languages like C, C++, Python, JavaScript, Rust, Go, and many others. You can add any kind of development skill which you have, like web development or app development or machine learning or system design or systems or computer network, cyber security, any kind of tool which you are aware of. You can also add cloud computing if you have that skill. So these are some technical skills which you can add in your resume. Please don't try to fake about your technical skills, because projects and the technical skills are the sections which the interviewer targets, which the interviewer asks question on. So if you're faking, and if the interviewer asks you question about that particular thing which you have faked, you will be in a trouble. Okay, so try to add those things which you are aware of. In my resume, if you see, there are many less technical skills, because at that moment of time when I was preparing for my internships, I mainly focused on D.E.Shaw problem solving and competitive programming. So I added that only. I was not aware of many development things at that moment of time. But if you are aware, it is very good to add development skills. That again adds a lot of value to your resume. So yeah, this was all about my resume. I know this is not the best one. I did not had many good projects at that moment of time. I managed my project section by adding the college course projects which I thought were decent. I think the main highlight of my resume is the CGPA which I have, which was quite good, and the DSA and CP problem solving skills which I developed throughout my preparation. And luckily D.E.Shaw did not ask me a single question from my resume, so I was lucky at that moment. They only asked me DSA questions and OOPS questions, which I was very well prepared for, and that's why I was able to answer or clear all the interview rounds of them. But that does not mean that you should not give importance to your resume making. Resume making is very important. The HR shortlists you before seeing you just based on your resume. So resume is like your I think your first impression. So it is said now that first impression is your last impression. So if your resume is good, obviously the impression which you impart on the recruiter or on the HR is quite good. So please take time to make your resume. And one more tip I want to share with you guys, that let's say if you have made your resume, then please share your resume with multiple seniors, with your friends who are aware of how to make resumes, because they will be the people who will give you good suggestions which will make your resume better. Please don't hesitate in sending your resumes for review. That helps. I did that. I sent my resume to a lot of people and they suggested me a lot of great things. So please do that. Please send your resumes for review. That will help you a lot. So yeah, this was all about the video. We will meet in the next one with some more better content. Till then, keep growing, keep learning, and stay healthy.